Hi, today I'm going to do quite a modern glam makeup. So quite a glamorous look, but something that's very cool, a little bit undone, and would be great for day or night. It's inspired by one of the makeups I did on the model Daria for this month's French Vogue. I did 5 different looks, and I uploaded the pictures to Instagram and Facebook, and lots of my followers were voting on which look they wanted to see, and this was one of the popular ones. So I thought I'd do it today because it is quite a nice look that really everyone can wear. The makeup for the story was all Lancome, but I'm going to mix it up today. So I'm going to use some of the makeup that I actually used on Daria and then mix in some drugstore and some other stuff just to kind of keep it varied. So I've already started by doing my base off camera just to kind of keep this video a little bit shorter. I used the cushion foundation, the Lancome cushion foundation, because that's what I used on Daria. I wanted like a really minimal base, and also a little bit dewy. And then I've used the Rimmel Match, I think it's, what's it called? Match concealer, I forget what it's called now, but one of their concealers just under my eyes. And then I did some pinpoint concealing with Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage. And I've also put some colour through my brows. I want to start by talking about the brows because this is a look with a red lip. And I think when you start to wear a red lip, it can instantly become very vintage and very done. So one of the key points is to keep your brows and your base looking quite natural. That's the only way to wear a red lip really in a very modern way, because as soon as you make your brows very dark or very arched, instantly it becomes vintage, particularly if you're wearing it with quite a neutral eyeshadow. So brows are done, but as I say, just ran some powder through them. It was the Gosh palette, the Gosh powder palette. So for eyes, it was a very kind of goldeny, bronzy look, so quite metallic on the eyes, but again quite undone, and quite a nice warm addition with the red lip. So I'm going to start by using the pen, and this is the eyeshadow stick rather that I used on Daria, which is just a sort of creamy eyeshadow. Using this all over the lid, and what's nice about it is that it does give a base, but it's sort of set so it's a bit like a primer at the same time. You can kind of wear this on its own as a primer really, or a sort of wash of colour. You probably can't see it here, but it does have a quite pearlized effect, so it's quite shimmery and nice. So onto the bronze eyes, and I'm going to use today the L'Oreal palette, and this is their nude palette. I'm going to use these 2 shades here, starting with the brown. And then going in with a really goldeny colour, golden bronze shade, and just increasing that, mainly at the outer edge. I'm going to use some Q-tips on that just to keep it quite soft. And just buff away. Before I do the other eye, actually, I'm just going to quickly show you how I finished that off, and that was going over with the yellowy gold shade in the palette, just to put a shimmer all over the lid. This is quite subtle, this shimmer, so you're not going to pick it up so much. And then underneath I also use the bronzy gold shade just through the lashes. And then to finish off, I'm just going to use the gold shade again and just press a little bit along the lash line. Now for the lashes, I didn't put loads of mascara on. Again, when it gets the brows very lashy, it starts to get very vintagey, very sort of cute. So because I'm going more for a cool vibe, I'm definitely going to definitely put mascara on, but go a little bit less. So I'm just going to mainly put it in the roots. And then put less sort of at the ends, and then a touch through the lower lashes. But I don't want that sort of dolly look. So just mainly getting right down to those roots, put plenty there, almost like a fake eyeliner, like tight lining with mascara. just buff that off a little bit. That's about right. So just like that. So again, it still has that kind of modern feel. Now, before I do my blush, I'm going to go straight onto the lip because it is a red lip and it is quite hard to judge. I always feel you should always do your blusher after you've done your lips with red. So I'm going to use this Velvet Stain. This is the one I used on Dari, and it's really intense and it's matte. So I'm going to use this roughly, not really doing a proper shape yet. Just getting it all over the lips, the kind of natural shape of the lips. Now I'm going to blot. And you can see the shape's messy, but don't worry about that. It's kind of the shape of my natural lips. Now I'm going to take a pencil and just adjust. Keeping it soft though, so I'm going to also use a little bit of concealer around the edges if I need to. Because we want to create a stain that's going to stay on, because if you're going to do an effortless red lip, you don't want to be there constantly touching it up the whole time, because that kind of defeats the object. You're not going to look very effortless. So this is the cool, casual way to wear it. Or at least it looks that way. Of course, there's a lot of effort involved, as we know. And just tidy up, bring it onto the lips as well, so we're not left with a line. And then I'm going to go back over the top with the stain again. Really packing it on, not too much on the applicator. And that's kind of it. So now I definitely need some bronzer and some blush. So Dari, the model in the story, was naturally a little bit tanned. So I'm going to sort of, and I think it looked great with a sort of little bit of a glow. So I'm going to use this e.l.f. bronzer. I'm just going to mix all the shades together and just add some warmth. I'm not going to be contoury about it because it wasn't like that at all. It wasn't try hard. It was kind of just kind of warmed up a little bit. And of course, people didn't use bronzer in back in those days. So again, it's something which stops that sort of vintagey look happening. And then I'm adding a touch of blush. I'm going to use this one by Revlon because it has got that kind of reddish tone to it. It's very corally. But I'm only going to use a small amount just to kind of pat on top. I have used a powder product already, but because I'm using so little of this, it should be fine. And the warmth from my hand, it's almost sort of melting in. And then to finish off, I'm just going to put a tiny highlight just at the inner corner there in my eyes. And then I left Daria's skin quite dewy, but I think I'll just have a touch of powder just in the centre of my face. I mean, judge that by how your skin is. So that's it. It's kind of I'm going out tonight, so this is perfect. It's kind of a little bit cool, a little bit undone, but it's modern glam. It's the only way I can describe it. I think it's the best way to describe it. And I think it's that way of kind of rocking a red lip and quite a glamorous eye makeup, but in a very played down, pared down, cool way. So I hope you like it, and I'll see you soon.